Hello, everybody. We're talking to Bill from an event I just found out about not long ago, but I'm really interested in talking to Bill about it. Bill is the manager of Lookup Records in Seattle, and they're having an event. I guess this is the second event, but I'd like to have Bill explain a little bit about what's going on this Saturday night at the Lookup Fest.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me on the show, Kevin. Like you said, this is our second Lookup Fest. And for this event, we are showcasing 11 local, dreamy, psychedelic kind of sounding Seattle bands. Some are from Seattle, some are from Olympia, Bellingham, Portland, so all in the Pacific Northwest. And we also have sort of a paranormal angle to our events. We like to involve like the local communities that are interested in the otherworldly and weird.
Yeah, it sounds like what's happening is that some of the guests that you're going to have there at the time are really well-known, award-winning filmmakers that talk about different things in different societies as well. I know that we're going to, ask a lot of people from the Seattle UFO Network to come, as well as some Sasquatch people to come. But the thing that I think one of the draws for folks like that would be is the fact that you guys are going to premiere a movie about one of the cryptids that supposedly live in Seattle. Do you know much about that?
Yeah, we know a little bit about it. So the cryptid is Lufu, and it's said to be this kelp demon, this elemental cryptid that lives in Seattle waterways. And we have some eyewitness testimonies, some physical evidence as well that we've been sent that we're going to premiere at the festival. And we're very excited to be working with Pacific North Weird for this event. And they put together this documentary that we're going to air later on in the night. So, yeah, very excited for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Pacific North Weird is actually, they're kind of an interesting group of people. They do a lot of different events around the Pacific Northwest. And one of the things, I didn't know if you know this, Bill, but it's kind of a feather in their cap. They actually, the video that Vince Yanenza made with his friend Tyler Bounds in Willow Creek, California, is actually being used by the Chamber of Commerce of Willow Creek to promote the city.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, it is one of those things where they do really good work, and this could be something that's a big thing for you. Now,
well, yeah, they do fantastic work, and they're also working on some sort of book, like a compilation of cryptids. And so we're kind of partnering on how we get the Lufu into that as well. So yeah, I met them a few months ago, and it's been really great to work with so far.
Yeah, and you've got another society that's coming along as well.
Yeah,
and what's their name?
They're called Liminal Seattle, and so they're the Seattle chapter in a potentially national map, a cartography association, if you will, that is documenting paranormal encounters. So anything as, from like a UFO sighting to a weird experience you have on the street to some sort of missing time, they are allowing a map, an online database where people can actually submit their occurrences to. And if you go to Liminal Seattle right now, you'll see this really great map of different labels, different encounters people have just submitted, just normal users, they've submitted to their database. So this is their second event with us. Last time they shared some ghost stories from the local Seattle area. And this time they're going to be doing something similar. We're going to have a couple sets of them sharing some stories from the database and hopefully giving a more aquatic kind of underwater angle with the stories here, because that's another part of the event. This is Look Up Fest underwater. So we're going aquatic here with some really great visuals. We'll have this immersive video display with lighting run by Blaze on Space, who is a local visual artist, to complement things, give it more of an aesthetic in the background.
Yeah, and this event is being held at a refuge and inside a building that's more. It's kind of more. You described it to me as kind of more like a museum setting than a music venue. So having these things there will be immersive. If somebody's never had an immersive event with music and visuals, it really does change your sense of consciousness a little bit in the way that you experience things. But can you talk a little bit about the venue itself and how many guests you're planning on having?
Yeah, completely. So Fred Wildlife Refuge, it's the name to a concert venue, kind of art space on Capitol Hill. And they put on anything from like artist-run events to corporate events. It's a very versatile space. But it was originally used for a photo studio for some photographer years back in Seattle. And they have a funny story for the name. I forget the origin exactly, but it's an indoor venue. It's beautiful, two floors, and we'll just have bands going on the bottom floor. And there's this huge white wall, floor to ceiling, where you can project visuals onto, which is really cool. We have a bar there with some special cocktails we've designed just for this night. And then upstairs also, we're going to have a photo booth with this like sea cave kind of environment that we're designing in there. We're going to have a theremin for people to play so they can, imitate a sad whale or a spooky ghost or whatever they want to do. As well as some other surprises we might not keep. We'll keep close guarded for now.
Yeah. So, I think the thing about it is if you are looking for an event on Saturday night, this is definitely it. You're dealing you're dealing with Capitol Hill, which is full of artists and all kinds of creative people in a space where you're sharing a lot of different stories, and it sounds like you've really put together a lot of different things. That's why I was so it's so cool because it's so different, and so the music that you're going to have there is it more sort of a grungy sound, or is it more psychedelic-y, or can you describe it a little bit for people?
Yeah, completely. Some bands are pulling on kind of a surf aesthetic. Some are more dreamy, kind of pop. But when it comes down to it, it's going to be a little more spacey, kind of psychedelic rock. And that's kind of the sound that we've curated for the event. We got a lot of submissions from local bands, around 35, and we dwindled it down to our favorites and asked some friends to play as well. So we've been growing this label since a couple years ago, and then the event series took off last September. So we've just been kind of curating that sort of sound so far.
It's so interesting that you're having a curated event now. Because of the fact of that, I would like to just ask you, because in an immersive event, sometimes you want the audience to look like part of the cast. In other words, this is one of those things where you're coming to that. How would you like people who are guests to come to look to? Is it one of those things where you want them in suits but with with weird touches, or what's the dress supposed to be like?
Those sea creatures at the bottom of the seafloor that have that bioluminescent kind of neon glow to them?
Yeah.
Ideally, I would just like everyone to look like that. That would be amazing, right? Because the idea of the night is like we start in that darkness and then enter the blue and go up to the top of the ocean and all the beautiful lighting and deep blueness. So wearing blue. Heck, if you want to dress up as part of the theme, that's great. That's kind of what I'll be doing. But I know some people might be wearing like some fish scale outfits. I don't know. We don't really require anything like that, but it's always fun to jump on the theme.
Yeah, but they're welcome. They're welcome to. I mean, I think that's one of the things that's cool is, I go to, I like all kinds of different music, and a lot of times I listen to bands that have a aesthetic about a time, and sometimes if it's a 60s or a 70s type band, you dress up like that, to try to create the mood. And so I think that's a good idea. Now, talk a little bit about your record label. Now, you're kind of a boutique record label. Do you? Is that one of those things that? And Seattle's known for that. I mean, a lot of big bands have come out of small record labels in Seattle. So,
oh yeah, completely.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that I'm not going to say how old I am, but let's just. Let's just say I saw Nirvana play with Mudhoney at the UW in the Hub. So I mean, back in the day when
that is rare.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but this is the type of thing where you're trying to, get with a lot of different bands and things like that. So so when you get there, what time does the event start now?
Yeah, it's going to be at 5 p.m. We're starting music right at 5 p.m. And doors are right then as well. So be a rush to get in. We have a long schedule for the night. So we're going to be punctual, get through it all, hopefully. But yeah, I agree. The role of a record label in Seattle is so like ingrained to the city's cultural heritage, from what Sub Pop has done and what they've like manufactured over the years is pretty phenomenal, to like newer labels like Barsook and Kill Room Records and Freak Out Records. There's a lot of these indie record labels spitting off right now. And I guess I thought, hey, that'd be cool to form a label around a community that I was involved with in Seattle, and just try to help coddle that to grow. Yeah.
And Bill, do you, when we're doing this, and I'm going to go back to one thing, because I think a lot of people don't know what a theremin is. And, because if you're into like 60s B movies, kind of hip hop, scary movies of the time, it's the sound that goes woo, and
it's everywhere.
Yeah,
if you start to listen, you'll hear it.
Yeah,
so often.
And the chance to actually play a theremin is very, very rare, because people that own these things anymore, they don't let people mess around with them. It used to be a time when you could go and play with them, but this is kind of a neat thing, and put that in your bag of things you've done on your bucket list.
Completely,
because it's awesome. And
it takes such a skill too. If you look up the videos of Clara Rockmore, she was kind of the first master of the art. I mean, it's really the first space age instrument. Before the synthesizer, Moog developed it and started, releasing it to the public. And it's very difficult to play, especially if you want to play it virtuosically and melodically, which is very rare. There's, it's probably a handful of people in the world that can actually do it, because the amount of like space you have to move your fingers are so subtle to go from interval to interval. It's a very difficult instrument to play, but if you can nail it, it sounds amazing, super otherworldly and beautiful even.
Yeah, and it because of the fact that Moog made it, it's kind of the grandfather. I mean, I like I said, I used to DJ a lot when I was in Europe and deal with that. But the Moog synthesizer set the '80s sort of new wave pop design, and so it is a piece of musical history, and the fact that it's kind of the grandmother of that, grandfather of that, whatever you want to call it.
Completely. And I think we're kind of adding homage to that history, because I think all the bands that are playing, they pull a lot from the new wave genre, and they understand that, and they like that sound. They like also using kind of those sort of effects like reverbs and delays, kind of trying to push what you can normally do.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like
Yeah.
I'm going to be about as happy as a pig in slop. You know what I mean? Because that's just like totally me. I mean, and so I'm very, very excited about this. Again, it's at name the venue again one more time.
Yeah, the venue is Fred Wildlife Refuge on Capitol Hill.
And it starts at 5. We'll put down the links of it. Now, do you have a ticket exchange that somebody needs to buy something from, like brown bag tickets, or are you using somebody else?
Yeah, exactly. It's Eventbrite. So if you go to lufu.eventbrite.com, and that's spelled LUFU, you'll see the ticket link right there.
And you'll want to get this because it sounds like to me, this is one of those things where if you show up like last time, you couldn't get in. So you want to make sure that you buy the ticket. It's 21 and up for the venue. Doors open at 5. Tickets are $21 a person. I think that's right. And for that many different types of things, and to get in, hang out with some cool people, I think you're doing everybody a real big favor. Again, Pacific Northwest Weird is going to be there. They're going to talk about cryptids. They're going to have some different societies there talking about different things. So bring your story too, and come hang out and listen.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
And one thing I haven't mentioned yet that I'd like to get in is that we do have a cause for the night. We're raising money through our raffle for the Duwamish River Cleanup Coalition. And what they're trying to do is spread awareness to the community, open roundtable discussions, engage with the local fishing community, and try to better the waterways down in the Duwamish River. So, yeah, that's our goal for the night when it comes to like fundraising and donations. We like to have some sort of cause associated with these events. Yeah.
Well, I've talked to you several times now, and you are a Renaissance man. I like that because it seems like you're trying to come off with a theme. You're putting it together very well. You've got a cause in mind. Of course, cleaning up waterways. Everybody knows that, lives in Seattle. You've got a lot of salmon that need to breed, come up rivers and things like that. And that's one of those things that we have a lot of say in to fix. So it's kind of a community event for people who are weird and hip. And, I've always thought that weird is hip and hip is weird. So, I think you're going to have a good time. So
completely. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, Bill. And again, you're the name of your record label is Look Up Records. You can find that on Facebook. We're going to share this event with this video, and we're going to talk. And we are going to have some videos that we've looked at in the past, some graphics that they're going to have. But I really encourage everybody to take a look at it. Bill from Look Up Records for the Look Up Fest on Saturday night. Thank you very much.